Hi everyone, this is Jason again, coming from you from the Seymour Library. Today is a Curious Kids activity. Today in Curious Kids we're going to talk about viruses. I know at school you've been probably talking a lot about the coronavirus or the COVID-19, whichever one you want to call it. So today we're just going to learn a little bit about what a virus is. I'm going to show you some experiments of why we should wear masks and why we should practice social distancing, and show you a little bit of what happens if we get sick from a virus. So hopefully this will be informative and you guys will learn a lot and have a lot of fun. So the first thing we need to know is, what is a virus? Well, to answer that question, I'm just going to read you the definition, and then I'll break it down a little easier so you guys can understand it. A virus is kind of like a code that gets in to your body, and the code tells your cells to reproduce the virus. And then the virus reproduces or doubles each time, and that's how we get sick. That's a real basic kind of explanation of what a virus is. But a virus also has to have something living for it to be able to reproduce, because it needs a living cell to infect so it can produce. Infect means taking over. So viruses are very, very, very small. We can't see viruses. Even with a light microscope, you can't see viruses. You have to have a special microscope to be able to see them. And to kind of demonstrate this is, if I take my pencil and put a little pencil dot on my paper, see, you can't, I don't even think you can see that in the video. That's how small it is. Well, imagine that pencil dot is a virus, and that pencil dot represents the virus, and this whole room that's around me, which is really, really big, represents us. So that kind of gives you an idea of how small a virus is. And I have some pictures of some common viruses, just so you can kind of see what a real virus looks like. This picture here is a picture of the coronavirus that's going around. So that's what the coronavirus looks like under a special microscope. Then this one here, this virus here, is just the common cold. So this is what the common cold virus looks like, blown up. And then here are some other viruses, so you can kind of see what those look like. So there are many different viruses. A lot of the viruses that are out there we have vaccinations for, which is a medicine that helps us keep from getting the virus. They're working on one for the coronavirus right now, so hopefully soon we'll have that. But once we have that virus, or that vaccination for the virus, then we are protected from getting that virus and spreading that virus to other people. So that's what a vaccination does. So the first thing I want to show you guys is how we spread a virus. So you see all our little people here? These represent you and all your friends. And I know at school you've probably heard the term social distancing. And the reason we social distance is so we don't spread the virus if we do have it and don't know it. Now I'm kind of going to show you with this what this is going to look like if you have it and how quickly it can spread. So if we set up all our little people, these represent all the people in your classroom, and we set them up like this. This is going to represent how quickly the virus can spread. Or any virus, not just the coronavirus. If we don't cover our mouths or wear our mask. So if this first person is sick with the virus, or with a virus, any virus, and they're too close, or they don't cover their mouth when they cough or sneeze, watch what happens. Every one of these people that fall are all going to get sick, and spreads it to everybody else. That's why it's important to practice social distancing. We distance ourselves and spread ourselves out, like so. They spread all our friends out, stay spread out from our friends, and if this person has the virus or is sick, it doesn't pass it on to anybody else. So I hope that kind of explains to you why we social distance. So again, if this person's sick and we social distance, it's a lot harder to pass it on to other people. But if we're too close, we get too close, look what happens. Everybody who falls, if we're too close, all these people who are too close to each other will fall and they will all get sick. So that's kind of showing. So back here I have a picture of my little friend, we'll call him Bob. I have this spray bottle. The spray bottle represents how far we can cough or sneeze if we don't cover our mouth. So I'm a good ways back. You can't even see me on camera, and look. See, look. That's super far. Now we got all our germs over our friend because we didn't cover our mouth or we didn't wear our mask. Now watch what happens when we wear our mask. We have our mask on, it can't get to our friend. It just stays in our mask. So we don't spread our germs and our viruses that way. But we can cough really far, about 6 feet. See? We're hitting and spreading our germs, but if we wear our mask, the germs doesn't get to our friends and our family. So that's why it's important to wear our mask. Now, another good thing that we've seen or heard is we need to wash our hands. We got to wash our hands for 20 seconds at least, and I'm going to show you why. So I'm going to put my gloves on. I'm going to use some washable paint here. And this is going to represent all our germs that we come across all day on our hands. We got all these germs on our hands. Look at that. All covered in our hands. So that represents all the germs that we come across all day. So this is why we need to wash our hands. So I'm going to turn the camera a little bit so hopefully you can see this. There we go. Now, if we just wash our hands a little bit, we still have all kinds of germs on our hands. See? So we gotta wash our hands some more. I washed them a lot longer that time, but you can still see that I have germs on my hands. So that's why it's important to make sure you wash your hands really well. See, when we wash our hands really well, all the germs are gone. So that's why it's important to wash our hands really, really well. And with soap. So we're going to show an experiment here of how soap is going to happen, or help. We're going to put some water in this bowl. Okay. We're going to put some soap in our bowl right here. Just a couple of drops. Okay. And we're going to mix this up really well. Mix this up really well. I know my head's cut off. That's okay. I want you to see the experiment, not me. So now we got our soapy water. We got our little ball. It's aluminum foil. We're going to make this into a model of a germ. The way we're going to do that is we're going to take some sprinkles. We're going to sprinkle on a plate here. And then we're going to take our double-sided tape. We're going to wrap a bunch of our double-sided tape around our aluminum ball here. Make it good and sticky. So just take a bunch of tape. If you don't have two-sided tape, just take your regular piece of tape and put it on backwards with the non-sticky side towards it and wrap it around. Just want to make sure we get this good and wrapped up with a bunch of sticky tape. Hopefully you can see that. Then we're going to roll it into our sprinkles. And that's going to represent our virus. So now we got our virus. So if we put our virus in some soapy water and mix it around a little bit, let's see, let me find a... And we mix our virus in the soapy water. You can see that a lot of the germs are coming off as we mix it. And that's because of the soap. And as you can see, most of the germs are off and in our water. That's why it's important to use soap and water when you wash your hands, to make sure you get all those germs off. Now, one of the things a virus can do if we get it, and one of the things the coronavirus does is it affects our lungs, or the way we breathe. So this is kind of a representation of our lung. When we pull down, you see the air going into the other balloon and blowing it up. That's how our lungs work. Every time we take a breath in, it fills up our lung. And when we breathe out, our lung goes down. We breathe in, our lung fills up. Now what happens is when we get a virus, we get mucus that can block our breathing. So I got some mucus here that we're going to put in our lung. And now watch what happens when we put some mucus in our lung. Down in there. Our lung doesn't fill up as much, does it? It's harder for it to get air. The sicker we get, and the more stuff that gets in there, the harder it is for our lung to fill up, because it blocks our lung. And that's why we cough. So if we start coughing, we breathe harder. Now you see that we cough all that up. But see how much harder we have to do it? And when it's clear, we just hardly have to breathe at all. We get nice, good air flow to our lung. But again, if it gets blocked by our mucus here, becomes much harder for us to breathe. See, our lung doesn't fill up as much. It's a lot harder. Then we start coughing, which makes us breathe harder, and then we have to cough all that up. So coughing's a good thing. It helps us cough the mucus and the stuff that blocks our lungs up. So this is just kind of a little bit a way to show you why it's important to wash our hands and social distance, and how fast a virus can spread if we don't do what we're supposed to do, and kind of what a virus is. I hope you learned a little bit. I hope you enjoyed this. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.